Welcome and thank you for viewing this registration presentation. My name is Mike Rushatar and I am the freshman counselor here at Prairie Point. I'll be working with our 8th graders on their transition to 9th grade throughout the spring, and I will be building the master schedule for 2015-2016. I am looking forward to getting to know your students as the school year progresses. I have found over the years that many 8th grade students and parents have a little anxiety about the jump from 8th to 9th grade. If you are experiencing this, please understand that it is pretty normal. I hope this slideshow will help answer some questions you might have and ease some of that anxiety. If after this presentation you still have questions, please feel free to contact me. My contact information will be at the end. As we go through this, please feel free to pause it frequently, take notes, or write down any questions you might have. So first, what is the purpose of this presentation? We want to get familiar with the Prairie Point 9th Grade Academy. We want to learn about the transition from 8th grade to 9th grade and beyond. We're going to briefly describe some course offerings and the graduation requirements, and I hope to answer any potential questions you have about next year. So one of the things that I hear a lot about is how is our 9th grade academy unique? I did attend a conference this past fall in Chicago and really spent some time learning more about how freshmen can be best served. And one of the things that I discovered was that we are already doing, or we have already implemented many research-based initiatives that are proven to help freshmen succeed. We're going to tweak a couple things for next year, but I'm learning that we're already doing a lot of really great things here. So one of the things that makes us unique and one of the things that we're doing that really helps students is we are a one-to-one district. So our students will have computers next year. You will see your 9th grader come home with a computer, and students will use their computers daily to research, to explore, and they really use it as an instrument of content creation. Students are also assigned to core teams, just like they were in 7th and 8th grade. The difference in 9th grade is that they're only on the same team for English, math, and science. But teachers can still collaborate together in English, math, and science, and they can do problem-based learning across different content areas. So it really works well to have students assigned to core teams. Students at Prairie Point also have elective course availability. In a traditional high school, students may not get the electives that they want. If you register or you pick the electives that you want now, there's a pretty good chance that you're going to get what you want, and that is unique to Prairie Point for sure. Students also have increased academic support. We will provide time during their day to get them help. A lot of that help will happen during a study hall or during their LRC time if they are assigned to the LRC, and we'll talk more about the LRC later. We also have teachers that are dedicated to freshmen. They only teach freshmen, and that is quite different than what you'd find in a traditional high school as well. Some new things for next year: we're going to teach a freshman success curriculum in our homeroom time, and we're also going to expand MTSS, and MTSS stands for multi-tiered system of supports. And with MTSS, what we try to do is answer the question, what do we do when the kids show us that they don't know it? And what do we do when the kids show us that they do know it? And so to answer that question, we will have time built in our school day to address the needs of kids on both ends of this spectrum. And so we're not quite sure what that's going to look like just yet, but we will have some expanded time during the school day next year to help students be successful. Students will come to me and ask me, how does this compare to 8th grade? Well, here is some answers I put together. The courses in 9th grade are generally more rigorous than what you're going to find in 8th grade, and that's to be expected. It's a grade further along. The expectations for quantity and quality of work increase. There's a lot more multitasking that goes on. You will have more homework. You'll also have to multitask different activities going on after school. Students are also asked to advocate for their own learning. In the past, teachers may ask you more questions and try to do more probing, but in 9th grade, we're starting to ask students to become more independent and to advocate for themselves. So we want them to ask questions. If they don't understand something, our expectation is that they will go to the teacher and ask for help. Students are now earning credits towards graduation. We'll talk about the graduation requirements later, but students will have to earn credits. Every class they take is worth a half a credit, and so if you don't pass the class, you don't get the credit towards graduation. Another difference now is the grades that students earn will go on transcripts, and that transcript will then follow you until you decide what you want to do for college. So when you apply to a college in 4 years, what you're doing now will be on that transcript. So it's important that students take that freshman year seriously, because the grades that they do get will go on that transcript. And we also see in ninth grade increased maturity for most of our students. And we do see that change between the 8th and ninth grade years. And we'll see it again as they move on from 9th to 10th grade. What courses do you have to take next year as a freshman? All of our students will take math. So right now, if you are in Math 8, you will take algebra as a freshman. If you are in algebra right now as an 8th grader, you will take geometry as a freshman. And if you are in geometry right now, we do have a few kids who are in that, then you will take advanced algebra as a freshman. All students will take English 9. All students will take physical science. And then all students will take topics and global social issues. That is a 1-semester class. It'll be taught either first or second semester for you. And then students will also take health and fitness, which is a full year. So elective choices are listed here on the screen. You'll see Spanish, it's a full year, and German's a full year, so you can't really take 1 semester of Spanish or 1 semester of German. It's got to be a full year. Intro to Industrial Tech is 1 semester. Engineering is a full year course. Choir and band are both full year courses. Drawing and painting are 1 semester. Digital arts is 1 semester. Ceramics, infotech, intro to business and street law, creative writing, lit through drama, facts, and life and careers are also 1 semester courses. So how do you get the classes that you want? This is my best advice to you, is to take the time to read through the course descriptions in the handbook. Be extremely thoughtful as you complete your course registration sheet. Have that registration sheet completed and turned in to me at conferences. If you want to change something in your schedule in August, once registration is completed, you will have a drop add period. So you can come in and see me and drop a class and add a class. So even if you change your mind over the summer or you want to drop or add something, you will still have time to make any changes before school starts. But the best advice I can give you, there is never a 100% guarantee that you're going to get everything that you want. But your best chance is to make sure what you want appears on your registration sheet. So for instance, right now I have a lot of students who want to take Family Consumer Science second semester. Right now there's a waiting list. Every spot is filled and the waiting list is up to 10 kids. So those 10 kids who want it are probably not going to get it. But if they would have registered for it now, back when they were 8th graders, if they would have had it on their registration sheet, I would have changed the number of sections that I had provided, and there was a better chance you could have gotten it then. So make sure, if you want a class, make sure you get it on that registration sheet now. If you change your mind later, there's a more difficult chance or a less chance that you will get the class that you want. Another question I get from parents a lot is, does my child need a study hall? I will tell you that about 75% of our freshmen will have one. And quite frankly, I wish that number was higher, because we have a lot of students who struggle with 8-period days. There really isn't a need to do 8 periods classes, but for some reason we have a lot of parents and students who want to do that, but realistically there's no need to. So I would recommend that most freshmen have a study hall. I will remind you that the course rigor and expectations will increase dramatically for freshmen. In addition, if you are in sports, the demands for your time after school also increase substantially. So, you will have, if you are in football or cross country or volleyball, there'll be nights where you're not home just on a regular practice night until 7 o'clock. And then after that, obviously for games or meets or whatnot. So you're going to have less time at night to do homework than what you had in 8th grade. If you don't take a study hall, you probably won't have a whole lot of access to academic support. So if you have a study hall built in, we can get you some help. So if things start to fall apart for you or you need some extra help along the way, having a study hall gives us access to do that. What if you want both band and choir? If you do, you can still do that, and traditionally it will work. If you have both band and choir and, let's say, a foreign language, you won't have time for a study hall. but that will usually be okay because band and choir don't tend to generate a lot of homework time, so it works out okay. And what I tell parents too is if you insist on having 8 periods in a day, remember there's no trophy that's going to get handed out at graduation for the kid who gets the most credits. If you take 8 credits every semester, or excuse me, 8 classes every semester, you will graduate with about 32 credits. That's an extra year of high school. And so I would tend to argue that there's no reason to rush. Take your time and at least for that first semester of ninth grade to take a study hall and make sure that everything goes smoothly. I will say that I take about 20 or 30 kids out of an 8 period day at some point during the school year because things get too tough and they start to fall apart. And so we pull a class out and we do that prior to the 12-week mark. So if you want to drop a class prior to the 12-week mark, you can. You can't join another class, but you can take a study hall. After the 12-week mark of a semester, if you decide that you want to drop out of a class, you have to take an F. But I will pull about 20 or 30 kids out of 8 period days prior to that 12-week mark because they think they can handle an 8 period day, and then we end up having to pull back because they're overwhelmed. So I just want to caution you, if you think that you want to do an 8 period day, just make sure that it's the right decision. So you heard me mention the LRC earlier. The LRC is our Learning Resource Center. It's located across from the library. It provides increased academic support, traditionally in organization, study skills, and content support. We will have some of our students that are assigned to the LRC to start the school year instead of study hall, and other students will get assigned to the LRC during the school year. Drop-ins are also welcome, so if you need some help in English or you need some help in math or science, you can drop in from your study hall, and adults will be in there working who will be able to provide you that support. It is open every day after school until 3:45 as well. So a lot of kids will ask me, when will I know my schedule? And I will tell you that scheduling will finish up in June, and then students will be able to pick up their schedules at August registration. So the portal, campus portal, will be shut down. You won't be able to see your schedule until you pick it up at registration in August. And then once you see that schedule, if you want to make changes, you can call, email, or stop in once registration begins. You can drop and add elective courses through the first week of actual class time in school. So if you want to make those changes, you can still do that. I will tell you that I will not switch teachers. So if you don't like your English teacher or your math teacher or your science teacher, we have a pretty firm policy that we won't make changes there. So, but if you want to change or drop an elective course, we can certainly do that. All right, graduation requirements. English, you need to have 4 credits or 4 years. Math is 3 credits or 3 years. Science is 3 credits or 3 years. And social studies is 3 credits or 3 years. And physical education, you need to have 2 credits. You'll get 1 credit here at, you'll have a half a credit here at Point plus a half a credit of health. At vocational credits, you'll need a half a credit there, and then you'll need 8.5 credits of electives for a minimum of 24. You'll also need to score a 230 on your reading map and a 241 in math. So the district writing assessment, you'll need a 3.2 on a 5-point rubric. You'll have to perform a senior portfolio and presentation, and you'll also need to do your CPR certification, which you'll do in 9th grade. I will tell you that if you think that you're going to go to a 4-year school, that it will be important to expand your 3 years of math to 4 and your 3 years of science to 4 as well. Activities we have here at Point, one thing I'll bring up is no pass, no play, which means that our grading periods, if you have a failing grade or multiple failing grades, that you will be ineligible to participate in extracurricular activities. That is a state regulation. So below you can read through the different activities that we have. Football, volleyball, boys and girls basketball will practice and compete at Point. But you'll also see here that golf, cross country, wrestling, tennis, track and field, soccer, bowling, softball, and baseball will practice and compete with the high school. We also offer swimming, which does combine with Cedar Rapids Jefferson. And you'll see the other activities that we have here. Some other questions that people will have. Summer PE is not available for Point students. It might be an option for you between your freshman and sophomore years, however. Driver's Ed, there is a spring course that's offered through Kirkwood that meets at Point starting in March. The class size on that is very tight. Usually there's about 30 spots available. If you have questions about that, you're going to have to contact the Kirkwood Continuing Education Department. We just provide them the space to teach the class, but you do not enroll through Prairie. You'll have to do that through Kirkwood. Another question I get is, do you need a foreign language? You don't need to have one to graduate from Prairie. Absolutely, bottom line is you don't have to have a foreign language to graduate from Prairie. If you think that you want to graduate from a four-year college, most of those four-year colleges and universities will require it for graduation. If you want to get into Iowa, Iowa State, or UNI, you have to have 2 years of a foreign language. And you can do that as a junior and senior in high school as well as you could a freshman and sophomore. So if you think that you want to get you want to get into Iowa State or Iowa or UNI, you will have to have 2 years of a foreign language, but you don't have to start as a freshman. You can do that as a junior or senior at Prairie as well. You don't have to have it to get into Kirkwood. You don't have to have it to do an apprenticeship, but it is a huge advantage in acquiring and securing employment in our global economy. So what can you do now to start to prepare for college? I would say challenge yourself academically at Prairie Point. Take tough classes, but at the same time with your elective courses, you can take some things that are also fun. But I do want you to challenge yourself. Develop an organization system that works for you. Get comfortable with all sorts of technology. Get involved in as many activities as possible. I will tell you that in talking with college admissions people, they want kids who are involved in a lot of activities. It's not just about academics. They want kids who are involved because they need kids to get involved in activities on their campuses too. So kids who are involved in lots of things are really attractive to colleges. Continue to explore I Have a Plan Iowa. Learn about the RAI. Parents, you can write down this web address. It's a great spot. The RAI is for students who want to enroll at Iowa, Iowa State, or UNI. This web address will give you more information about that. If you think that you want to participate in athletics at the NCAA level or the NAIA level, you do need to learn more about the Clearinghouse. So if you do a Google search on the Clearinghouse, you will find all the information there. Parents, what can you do to start preparing for your kids to go to college? I would suggest going to this web address, the Iowa College Access Network, and it will help you with some of the financial aspects of paying for college if that's something that you're going to do for your child. I have some students who will ask me, what if I'm not sure I want to go to college? Well, what I would say to that is please continue to explore career or other career possibilities. We have a lot of students who end up going to a four-year college who don't graduate from a four-year college and end up wasting a great deal of money, and then they get themselves enrolled in a 2-year program to go out and get a job. So make sure, if you don't want to go to a four-year school, that's completely fine, but most careers will require some post-secondary education, but they don't always require a four-year degree. So continue to explore your career possibilities. I Have a Plan Iowa is a great place to do that. Explore the Kirkwood programs or other post-secondary options like apprenticeships or business and IT schools. These are really advantageous programs because you can get in, get 2 years of education, get out and get a high-paying job and not have to have a huge amount of debt like you would with a four-year college degree. I would also say consider the cost of a four-year degree. A four-year college degree is incredibly expensive. If you don't think that you need it to do the career that you want to do, look at other options. Parents, this is a great web address. I found this year. Check out the College Risk Report. The web address is right here in front of you. Write this down. It's a great resource to determine whether you think a four-year degree is worth it when you consider the cost of that four-year degree. Remember that 99% of careers that are out there right now will require some post-secondary education, but most of that involves 2 years of post-secondary training or less. So I mentioned I Have a Plan Iowa. Parents, you probably have seen this before in 8th grade. Your students should have a little bit of this work done already. I Have a Plan Iowa is a career and college database specifically directed towards Iowa students. There are 2 components of it. One is the career assessment, and 2 is the four-year plan. The four-year plan is an online planning document that can be changed by students at any time, and I will tell you that this is not registration for freshman classes, so sometimes there's some confusion here. This does not get you registered for classes. It's a planning document and a planning program. All students have specific login information that will be used until they graduate. by the time you're seeing this presentation, your student should know what their login information is. So all students in Iowa have to do a 4-year plan. It will look something like this. It's just a rough draft planning document for them to use, and they will continue to update it in 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, and 12th grade. So upcoming dates that are important. Registration sheets will need to be returned to me at conferences on January 26th and February 2nd. I will be up outside of the library. So when you have your conference, I will need to have that registration turned into me. I will be here both nights, and I can answer any questions you might have. Your student is going to come home with the registration sheet. We're going to fill that out in class together. It's going to look something like this. You will see that I will already have English, science in there for them already, and then we'll put in the math course. You don't have to write that down because I'll do the math later. Health and fitness is already in there, and global will already be in there. You'll see that I have written in, as an example here, this student would take Spanish, digital arts, and street law. I put the course number next to the name of the course that I would want my student to take. And then study hall, you'll see I wrote that in there too, and there is no course number for study hall. So that's an example of what a registration sheet could look like. So as you write these in with your kids, please put in the course number and the name of the course that you want to take, and then turn those into me at conferences. Okay? So if you have any questions, this is my contact information. You can reach me by phone at school, or you can also reach me at the email address there. I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have. Thanks again for viewing. Again, if you have any questions, please let me know.